What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am going to do the two-part podcast. Like I said in some previous episodes, we are going to do the way too early look at the 2025 opponents in the NFL. Now, for those of you that are listening, I want to put a caveat in front of this. This is actually one that is pre-recorded. I put this, in a sense, in the put it in the filing cabinet after the opponents got released, which happens basically during the night um, of the last week in the NFL regular season. So I put this in the vault. So there is no info about any games, nothing of that sort about how the postseason is played out to the juncture that this podcast comes out in. So just know it's pre-recorded. I recorded this, kind of put it in the vault for a reason because I wanted to make sure to release the two episodes basically back to back, make it a two-part, and kind of get onto the track of where I want to be time-wise as we get into the regular season, into the postseason, into the new league year, coaching hires, etc. Okay? So, way too early look at the 2025 opponents. Now, these are just the opponents. We have the home and away opponents for 2025 NFL regular season. We don't have when they play them. We don't have where, as far as if they could be overseas. We don't have any of that. This is simply mano a mano, team versus team. So to understand, I should say the schedule layout itself. Here is how the NFL scheduling, let's take a couple minutes, lay the foundation so that everybody understands how the scheduling works. So every year, you will play your division 6 times. You have 3 home games, 3 road games. So for sake of ease, I am not going to name their opponents like that. I will say something to the effect of the 3 division opponents, home and away, and move on. I'm not going to include each individual name. I'm just going to say the 3 division opponents, home and away. Okay? They play those. That is mandatory. That's every year. Now, how the rest of the schedule fills out is you play one division from both conferences, full tilt, straight across the board. There's 8 more games right there. Okay? So you'll play the NFC East, and let's say you're the reigning Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. You're in the AFC West, and your division is going to play the AFC South that year. And you're going to play the AFC or the NFC East. You will play 2 divisions, all the teams in that division. So there's 8 games, 6 games in division. So now we're at 14. So how do we get the other 17? Well, now, because of that 17th game, you play the team you division. So where you finish in the division matters for scheduling. This is why it matters. Let's stick with the Kansas City Chiefs. They won their division. They will play another winner from a division in the NFC. So let's say they play the Rams, who won the NFC West. They could play the Lions, who won the North, the Eagles, who won the East, etc. They play, it's then on a rotating schedule. Everything is kind of set up. They know who the 2027 opponents kind of are now. They know what divisions they'll come from. Okay? They do know that this isn't something that's brand new. That's why the minute that afternoon game slate was over on Sunday, the opponents for each team came out, boom, during Sunday Night Football. So these are pre-planned. It's a rolling thing. This isn't something that's brand new, seemingly like how college football is, where they're taking the offseason to figure out their schedule and how they're going to do it. No, it's a rolling thing. Absolutely normal, absolutely straightforward of how it works. So you play the number one team in a random division. You play the place you finished in. So if you're the Titans in the AFC South and you're supposed to play a team that's from the NFC South, they'll play the Panthers. Okay? So that's how that works. That's why this is the way it should be. The weaker teams play the weaker schedules. That's how you have a league like the NFL where you can, if you get the quarterback right, like Washington and Denver, then make the playoffs and start to build momentum for the future. Then the final two games are same thing, where you finished in your division against the two other divisions in your conference. So the Chiefs were number one. They're going to play the entire AFC South anyway. They play the division winner of the AFC East and the AFC North. That's how this all works. So there's your rundown quickly of how the scheduling works and everything else. Now, every team, because of this, is also on a rotating schedule of whether they have 9 home games or 9 road games. That is also rotating. So just keep all that in mind. There is how the NFL schedule gets played out every year. And let's jump into it. We're going to start in the AFC East. We're going to do the AFC today. So we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. 3 division opponents, home and away. Then they have home games against the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, Buccaneers, Chiefs, and Eagles. They're going to be on freaking prime time or the game of the week every damn week. My gosh. Put one of their division games on Thursday Night Football again. I mean, that is a gauntlet, but it's at home. Everybody's got to go to Buffalo. It's home. Let's just say starting in December, your last 5 weeks of the season, 3 of those games are home. One of them will probably be division. The other 2, Philadelphia, Buffalo, in the snow. Like, great gauntlet. Now, their road opponents are the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Browns, the Steelers, and the Texans. Honestly, it's a really favorable road schedule. The only one I see as a team that's going to fight is the Texans. And I'll tell you this. The Patriots will be a tough out with Mike Vrabel. He is a giant killer. He is a giant slayer. That Patriot team will play tough. But really, that's a great road schedule. That is a great road schedule for the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely great. All right, the Miami Dolphins finishing second in the division. This is their schedule opponents for 2025. 3 division opponents, home and away. Then we have the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chargers at home, and the Commanders at home. Their road opponents consist of the Falcons, the Panthers, Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know what this team is going to look like next year. We'll dive into their free agents and everything. I found all the information. I'm compiling it into an easy way for me to be able to do the 25, 30-minute podcast on the individual teams. Kind of waiting as long as I can, but I do want to do it before the new league year sets in. So that definitely will be starting hopefully around the 1st of February. But I don't know what this team's going to be, so I don't really have much comment on the schedule that there is. The home schedule's slightly favorable, but if the team's not good, then the road schedule couldn't be, the road schedule could be bad for them because they're going to play against young, energetic teams, and those are hard to beat on the road. All right, the New York Jets, 3 division opponents. Then they have the Falcons at home, the Panthers at home, Browns and Steelers at home, the Denver Broncos at home, and the Dallas Cowboys, all at home. Their road opponents then are the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, Buccaneers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So 2 for sure. They will have 2 matchups against first-time, 3, because I have the Saints as well. So have at least 3 matchups against brand new head coaches. And guess what, the Dallas Cowboys now? 4. If Mike McCarthy does end up getting let go. I think he will. I don't know if it has happened by the time this podcast comes out, but I think Mike McCarthy will sleep. Probably 4 brand new head coaches. Not a bad schedule. New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel, this is recorded late enough. I have Mike Vrabel, but I knew he was going to get hired. So that's the only coach that I've seen fall by the time that this podcast was recorded. And I like it. So they got their 3 division opponents. Then they got the Falcons at home, Panthers at home, Browns at home, Steelers at home, Raiders at home, Giants at home. That is a damn good home schedule. Second-year quarterback Drake May, Mike Vrabel bringing the toughness back into the organization. That is a damn good home schedule to be able to do so. Their road opponents then are the Ravens, the Bengals, the Saints, Buccaneers, and the Titans, where he was head coach previously. They could take a couple of those. They could steal a couple of road games. Not going to lie, I think they win 8 games. I'm not going to lie. I think they could win 8 games next year. And maybe more. All right, let's head to the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens. 3 division opponents, home and away. They're home against the Bears, the Lions, the Patriots, the Jets, the Texans, and the Rams. Number 1 team in the division gets the harder schedule. That is an interesting schedule, not going to lie. It will give them a little bit, it's going to give them some big matchups at home. But then on the road, they got the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, the Dolphins, the Vikings, and the Chiefs on the road. Depending how coaching plays out, coaches that move, the coordinators that get hired, that's a tough road schedule. That is a tough road schedule. So we'll see how it all plays out. The Pittsburgh Steelers, somehow, once again, they should fire Mike Tomlin. I don't see them being able to have the guts to do so. So they'll just keep running on in playoff and basically purgatory forever. Of get there, but then get smoked. All right. So we got the 3 division opponents. Then we have the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Indianapolis Colts, and a Super Bowl rematch of what I think is the most lopsided home game advantage in Super Bowl history, the Seattle Seahawks. They get a lot of tough opponents at home. At home works. But then on the road, they've got the Bears, at the Lions, at the Patriots, at the Jets, and at the Chargers. I don't know what this team's going to look like next year. Obviously, we have no clue. But the road schedule isn't horrible. And you got a lot of teams coming to the Steel City. So not bad. Cincinnati Bengals finished third in the AFC North. Their home opponents, obviously the division, home and away. Then they have the Bears at home, the Lions, the Patriots, the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Arizona Cardinals are all at home. Their road opponents consist of the Bills, the Packers, the Dolphins, Vikings, and the Denver Broncos, a rematch of that absolutely fantastic Saturday game that we were able to witness between Joe Burrow and Bo Nix. Cleveland Browns in a absolute pickle between their quarterback who injured himself again, and what the future may hold. Their home opponents for next year, not great. Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, Miami Dolphins, the Vikings, the Titans, and the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, they have their division opponents home and away. Their road schedule is the Bears, the Lions, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Raiders. So honestly, got a few winnable games in there if you can just right the ship. They've got some pieces. I believe it's either, I don't know, it depends on what you want to do with Stefanski. I'm not firing the guy. I love the guy. Look what he did last year. He's not the one responsible for this freaking quarterback mess that you brought in. He's not responsible. If he gets fired, he gets another job immediately, and I'll take him in Indianapolis every damn day. It's just the way it is. But if this plays out and they can't win it again, I would completely rebuild. Garrett, Denzel Ward, it depends on what you want to do. If you want Stefanski to rebuild this team, let Stefanski rebuild this team. Do it. Trade Ward, trade Garrett. This is a great defensive player draft. Go get him. If you want to sign Chubb, be like, listen, dude, we're talking a Russell Wilson $1 million for the year deal. You're injured all the time. We'll put $7 million in incentives on this deal, but we're only paying them out if you end up playing and you end up being useful for us. I think that's fair at this point. So we'll see what the Browns organization decides to do. All right, the AFC South, we have the Houston Texans who won the division once again. They have their 3 division games, home and away. They then have home games against the Arizona Cardinals, the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, the 49ers, the Bills, and the Buccaneers. Denver and Buffalo, honestly, are the only 2 games of those that I'm actually kind of, thinking that they could lose, but they've definitely loved playing at home. The energy there in NRG Stadium is absolutely electric. Have no issues whatsoever playing in their home stadium. Fan base is getting excited. Come on. The simple fact is the team is winning enough to win the division. They're making the playoffs, and when they're home in the playoffs, they've won both games. And they won both games with defense. Come on. How can you not like this team? I ignore all the Indianapolis Colts fans that chide on the Texans. They have success, and we don't. They have legitimate success, sustained success, and we don't. We haven't had sustained success since Peyton Manning. So the Colts fans are just being stupid. It's starting to drive me up the wall. Speaking of them, that's the next team on our list, the home and away. I hate this. I hate this. Listen to this. So we got our division opponents home and away. Okay, the division ones, whatever. We'll probably go 2-4 again. 3-3 max, 2-4 probably. But these are our home games. We got the Cardinals at home and the Broncos at home. We got the Raiders at home, the 49ers, the Dolphins in Atlanta, and you're sitting there going, okay, not bad. Not bad. Could definitely be worse. You are absolutely right. It could definitely be worse. Here's the worst. The road schedule. At Kansas City, at the Chargers, at the Rams, at the Seahawks, at the Steelers. There is not one road victory outside of our division that I see. Even with Pittsburgh. In the Steel City, it'll probably be when it's freaking cold outside. We're going to be lucky if we win 8 games next year again. We're going to be lucky to win 7. It's bad. It's just bad. I mean, oh gosh. All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will have a new coach, play their 3 division opponents home and away. They get the Chiefs at home and the Chargers at home. They also get the Rams and the Seahawks at home, with the Jets and Carolina as well. So they got a couple games they could win at home. Their road games are the Arizona Cardinals, Denver Broncos, the Raiders, 49ers, and Cincinnati. This team could easily improve to 6-11, maybe 7-10 next year. But if they play to their potential, which is toughness, they could easily get to the 9-10 win mark. Easily get to the 9-10 win mark. All right, the Tennessee Titans. 3 division opponents, home and away. Their home games are against the Chiefs, the Chargers, Rams, Seahawks, Patriots, and the Saints. Their road games are against then the Buffalo Bills, the Arizona Cardinals, Denver Broncos, the Raiders, 49ers, and the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what they're going to do. I just feel like they're stuck. I don't like Brian Callahan as a head coach. They got a new stadium coming in, being built. They got to get some. There's got to be some excitement around this team. I just don't know how they're going to do it. All right, last division, the AFC West. Starting with the team that won it, the Kansas City Chiefs. They have home games against the Texans, the Colts, the Eagles, Commanders, Ravens, and Detroit. That's what you want for your home schedule. You don't want to go to Philadelphia. You don't want to go to Detroit. You don't want to go to Baltimore. You want them all to come to you. Now, their road games, listen, this is a big break for them. Their road games are then Dallas, Jacksonville, the Giants, the Titans, and the Bills. I only truly see them losing to Buffalo depending on Jacksonville's coach. Remember, I've said this, and I know at this point I've released what I'm going to call option 1 or option 2 for head coaching vacancies. So I know that I've said Jacksonville needs to go back to toughness. Physical play that just beats you. Physical play that just beats you. And that's what I think they need to do. So potentially that road game could be interesting, but Buffalo is really the only one. All right, the Chargers got second in the division. They play obviously their division opponents. And then they have the Philadelphia Eagles at home, the Commanders, the Steelers, and the Vikings at home. Then that means their road opponents are the Cowboys, the Jaguars, the Giants, the Titans, and the Dolphins. Not going to lie, that could really give them the ability to get to that 12-win mark. It really could. They could get to that 12-win mark. Absolutely. 150%. All right, the Denver Broncos finishing third in the division. Play their division opponents, and then they've got the Cowboys at home, Jaguars at home, Giants at home, Titans at home, Bengals at home, and the Packers at home. That's a good home schedule for year number 2 with Bo Nix. Their road games are the Texans, the Colts, the Eagles, Commanders, and the Jets. That's a little bit tougher road schedule. Just a little bit tougher road schedule. I think if they go 10-7 again, it'll be right where they are. I think they could easily go 10-7 again, and we'll see what happens. All right, the last team in this way too early look at the AFC schedule for 2025, the Las Vegas Raiders. They play their 3 division opponents, and then you've got the Cowboys at home, Jacksonville at home, the Giants, the Titans, the Browns, and the Chicago Bears at home. Then on the road, you play in Houston, in Indianapolis, in Philadelphia, in Washington, and against the New England Patriots up in Foxborough. So the road schedule, not very helpful, not very promising. However, home schedule could have a couple wins. Definitely could have a couple wins. All right, so at the end of it all, that's the AFC. That is the AFC 2025 opponents. Just the opponents, home and away, for the 2025 NFL regular season. I hope you guys like this. These are the simple podcasts I love doing. It's easy. It's information. You guys get to hear it instead of have to go find it and read it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. As always, please make sure to subscribe, like the video. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you guys tomorrow because these will be released back to back. I will talk to you guys tomorrow with the NFC 2025 opponents. Until then, for Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out.